Here's what they don't tell you about taking a break. You think it's about finally getting a moment to breathe, to sit down, to do nothing. But the moment you do, a different kind of exhaustion kicks in. A little voice in your head starts whispering, or maybe it's screaming, that you're being lazy, that you're falling behind, that everyone else is still working, still grinding, still getting ahead while you're just stopping. And suddenly, that relaxing break you desperately needed feels more stressful than the work you were trying to escape from. Welcome back to Stepstow Wholeness. This is not medical advice. Please consult your doctor for medical advice. This isn't about being lazy, and it is not about a lack of discipline. It's about a problem that's been built into our world, into our minds, without us even realizing it. We've been taught to celebrate the hustle, to wear burnout like a badge of honor. We see people online talking about their 5 a.m. wake-up calls and their 18-hour workdays, and we think that's the blueprint for success. So we push and we tell ourselves we'll rest later. We'll take a break when we've earned it, when we've finished the project, when we've hit the goal. But that finish line keeps moving, doesn't it? There's always one more email, one more task, one more thing to worry about. The problem is, our bodies and minds have a very real finish line. And when you cross it without taking a real break, you don't get a trophy, you get burnout. And that's a hole that is so much harder to climb out of than you can ever imagine. It's a quiet, creeping thing that slowly steals your energy, your joy, and your ability to even think straight. So let's talk about the real challenge. It's not about finding the time to rest. It's about fighting the guilt that comes with it. It's about unlearning this toxic idea that your value as a person is tied directly to how productive you are. The pressure is everywhere. It's in our jobs, where we're expected to be available 24/7. It's on social media, which is basically a highlight reel of everyone else's accomplishments. It's even in our own families and friend groups where "what do you do?" is one of the first questions people ask. We've created a culture where being busy is seen as a status symbol. If you're not busy, you must not be important. If you're not tired, you must not be working hard enough. This creates a powerful sense of guilt whenever we try to step off the hamster wheel. The moment you decide to take an evening for yourself, your phone buzzes with a work notification. The moment you sit down with a book, you remember a dozen chores you should be doing. Your brain has been trained to look for the next task, the next problem to solve. It doesn't know how to power down anymore. And this leads to a state of chronic low-grade stress. Your body is constantly swimming in cortisol, the stress hormone. And that has some very real, very physical consequences. Let's get specific about what that actually feels like, because it's not just about being a little tired. It's a deep, soul-crushing exhaustion that a good night's sleep can't fix. You wake up in the morning feeling like you haven't slept at all. Your limbs feel heavy, like you're moving through water. Just the thought of getting out of bed and facing the day can feel like climbing a mountain. Then there's the brain fog. This is a big one. It's that feeling when you walk into a room and completely forget why you're there. Or you're in the middle of a sentence and the word you need just vanishes from your brain. You read the same email 3 times and the information still isn't sticking. It feels like your brain is wrapped in cotton wool. You can't focus, you can't concentrate, and your creativity is just gone. Along with the brain fog comes irritability. Suddenly, everything gets on your nerves. The sound of someone chewing, a person walking too slowly in front of you, a car horn. It all sends a jolt of anger through you. You snap at people you love for no good reason, and then you feel terrible about it afterwards, which just adds another layer of stress. This often goes hand in hand with a constant feeling of anxiety. It's a hum of dread in the background of your day. You feel worried and on edge, but you can't even pinpoint what you're worried about. It's a shapeless fear that something is about to go wrong. Your sleep gets completely messed up. You might lie in bed for hours, your mind racing, unable to shut off. You replay conversations from the day, you make to-do lists in your head, you worry about the future, or you might fall asleep instantly from sheer exhaustion, only to wake up at 3 a.m. with your heart pounding, unable to get back to sleep. And physically, your body starts to protest. You might get tension headaches that feel like a tight band is squeezing your skull. Your neck and shoulders are constantly knotted with stress. Maybe your stomach is always upset, or you start getting sick more often because your immune system is compromised. Burnout isn't just in your head, it's a full-body experience. It's your entire system waving a giant white flag and screaming, "I can't do this anymore." And the biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we just need to push through it. Pushing through burnout is like trying to drive a car with no gas in the tank. You're just pressing the pedal, going nowhere, and damaging the engine in the process. To truly fix this, we have to completely change how we think about rest. The first thing to understand is that rest is not the same as sleep. Sleep is essential, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. And rest is not the same as just stopping an activity. Mindlessly scrolling on your phone for an hour might feel like a break, but it's not restorative. Your brain is still processing a massive amount of information, your eyes are getting strained, and you're often just feeding that cycle of comparison and anxiety. True rest is an active process. It's about intentionally doing things that recharge your various energy stores. And the secret that most people don't know is that there are actually 7 different types of rest that we all need to function. Let's break them down one by one. The first is the one we all know, physical rest. This can be passive, like sleeping and napping, but it can also be active. Active physical rest includes things like gentle yoga, stretching, or getting a massage. It's anything that helps release tension in your body and improve your circulation. Think about how you feel after a really good long stretch. Your muscles feel lighter, looser, you feel more in your body. It's about intentionally giving your physical self a break from the strain of sitting in a chair all day or from a hard workout. It's lying on the floor with your legs up the wall and just feeling the blood flow back down. It's noticing where you hold tension in your jaw, your shoulders, your hands, and consciously telling those muscles to let go. That is true physical rest. The second type is probably the most difficult for a lot of us, mental rest. Do you ever get to the end of the day and even though you haven't done much physically, your brain feels like a fried egg? That's because you have a mental energy deficit. You start the day with a full cup of focus and decision-making power, and every little choice you make, every problem you solve, takes a little sip from that cup. By 3 p.m., the cup is empty, and you can't think straight. Mental rest is how you refill that cup. It doesn't mean emptying your mind. That's basically impossible. It means giving it a break from problem solving. A simple way to do this is to schedule short breaks throughout your workday. Just 2 minutes every hour where you close your eyes and just breathe. You're not trying to solve anything or plan anything. You're just focusing on the feeling of your breath going in and out. Another powerful tool is keeping a notepad next to your bed. When those racing thoughts keep you awake, write them down. Get them out of your head and onto the paper. This act tells your brain, "I've captured this, you don't need to keep reminding me," allowing it to finally switch off. Third, we have sensory rest. We live in a world of constant sensory input. The bright light from our screens, the endless scroll of images, the constant notifications pinging on our phones, the background noise of traffic, televisions, and conversations. Our senses get overwhelmed and fatigued. Sensory rest is about consciously reducing that input. It can be as simple as closing your eyes for a minute in the middle of a busy day, or creating a digital sunset where you intentionally put away all screens at least an hour before you go to sleep. Turn off the bright overhead lights and use a soft lamp instead. Spend a few moments in complete silence. You'll be amazed at how loud silence can feel at first, because you're so used to noise. But after a minute or two, you can feel your entire nervous system calming down. It's like turning down the volume on the world, and it is incredibly restorative. The fourth type is creative rest. This is especially important if your job requires you to be innovative or solve problems. Creative energy isn't endless. You need to refill the well. Creative rest is about allowing yourself to appreciate beauty without any pressure. It's about experiencing art or nature just for the sake of it. This could mean taking a walk in a park and really looking at the shapes of the leaves and the color of the sky. It could be visiting an art museum, putting on a playlist of your favorite music and just listening without doing anything else, or watching a classic film. The key is to just let the beauty wash over you. You're not trying to analyze it or figure out how you can use it in your own work. You're just taking it in. It's about experiencing awe. That feeling of being in the presence of something vast and beautiful quiets the noise in our heads and reminds us that there's a bigger world out there beyond our to-do lists. Fifth on the list is emotional rest. This one is huge. Emotional rest means having the space and the freedom to express your true feelings and not have to put on a show for anyone. So many of us spend our days being the nice guy or the helpful girl. We're professional and pleasant at work. We listen to our friends' problems. We take care of our families. That's all a form of emotional labor. It's work. And it's draining. Emotional rest means you get to drop the act. It means having at least one person in your life who you can be completely yourself with, who you can tell, you know what, today was awful and I feel terrible, without them trying to immediately fix it. It's about having the permission to not be okay. If you don't have that person, journaling is an incredibly powerful substitute. It's a private place where you can dump all of your frustrations, fears, and feelings without any judgment. Number 6 is social rest. This might sound strange. Aren't social interactions supposed to be fun? Yes, but they can also be draining. We all have people in our lives who, while we may love them, leave us feeling exhausted after we spend time with them. And we also have those friends who leave us feeling energized, inspired, and happy. Social rest is about understanding the difference. It means limiting your exposure to those draining interactions and prioritizing time with the people who fill up your cup. It also means recognizing your need for solitude. Sometimes the best social rest is no social interaction at all. It's spending an evening alone with a book or a movie, completely on your own terms, without having to accommodate anyone else's needs or energy. It's not antisocial, it's a necessary recharge. Finally, the 7th type of rest is spiritual rest. This doesn't have to be religious. Spiritual rest is about connecting with something bigger than yourself. It's about feeling a deep sense of belonging, purpose, and connection. For some people, this is prayer or attending a religious service. For others, it's meditating, volunteering in their community, or spending time in nature. It's whatever makes you feel connected to a larger whole and reminds you of your place in the universe. It's that feeling you get when you look up at a sky full of stars. It helps put your own problems into perspective and provides a sense of peace and stability that goes beyond your day-to-day worries. The most important moment, the key shift in all of this, is when you finally realize that rest is not a reward. It is a requirement. It's not something you get to do after you've worked yourself into the ground. It is a fundamental, non-negotiable part of the work itself. Think of it like this. A top athlete doesn't see recovery days as lazy days. They know that rest, nutrition, and recovery are just as important as their training. It's during rest that their muscles repair and get stronger. Without rest, they risk injury and their performance suffers. Our minds and bodies are no different. Rest is not the opposite of work. It is the partner to work. It is the process that allows you to come back to your work, your family, and your life stronger, clearer, and more resilient than before. Giving yourself permission to take a real, well-earned break is the ultimate act of self-respect. It's you telling yourself that you are worthy of care, that you are more than just your productivity, and that your well-being is the foundation upon which everything else is built. So let's bring it all together. We've been lied to by a culture that glorifies being busy. This makes us feel guilty and stressed when we try to take a break, leading to a state of burnout that drains our energy, fogs our brains, and makes us physically sick. The solution is to redefine what it means to rest. It's not just about sleeping or stopping, it's about actively engaging in 7 types of restoration: physical, mental, sensory, creative, emotional, social, and spiritual. By understanding what kind of tired you are, you can choose the right kind of rest to actually recharge yourself. You don't have to wait until you're completely broken to start. You can start small by scheduling just 5 minutes of silence, taking a short walk without your phone, or writing down your feelings. This isn't about being lazy or unproductive. It is the smartest, most productive thing you can do for your long-term health, happiness, and success. If this helped, make sure you subscribe for more ways to take care of yourself. Thanks for watching.